I think that like the idea of a one person uh, business that can get to 1 million in revenue on very little like overhead and no other actual contractors. So I'm not talking about like having someone do your books. I'm not talking about
Right.
they're actually doing work that you're billing for is what I
Hmm.
mean, right? So like that is very, very real. I think. I think that is on the rise. And I know that there are people who are doing it, but I mean like where many companies are doing this. Like you go into a co-working space and half of them are doing that. Like I think that is the evolution of what these tools are doing, which means that fewer people are going to have jobs, which means that more people are going to have to be entrepreneurs,
Yeah.
right? Which is not it's like saying everyone that, imagine all of a sudden you had to be a teacher. Well, I could never do that. Like, I could never, so like not everyone has the DNA to be an entrepreneur. So what happens? And that's the thing that I don't know. Like I don't think anyone really is talking about because it hasn't been a major issue yet. But think about like the layoffs from all the FANG companies, right?
Mm.
Like it was like I forget who started it, but then one after another, they all let people go. They're never rehiring.
No.
They're never rehiring those engineers, right? Whether or not they let them go for the reasons they said they let them go, because I don't know really what the terms of
Hmm.
that were, but like they will have basically one engineer for every six agents, or
Right.
some land or every
Right.
nine, so 1 in 10, or 1 for 10, or something like that. But like that's never getting rebuilt. All the new companies are never going to have staff that they would otherwise be required to scale. So yeah, so like again, like I think that knowing this is like there's no like moral to the story. I'm just saying that if this is actually a possibility, how are you prepared for it? Because you don't have a choice. Like you either are on the upside of that or the downside of it. And unfortunately, if it's like one person for every nine machines, you're more likely to be on the downside of that, right?
Hmm.
The negative side of that. And so if you're a business today, how do you, because like, I might still be on the downside of it too, but at least I'm like trying to focus on how I got, right?
Hmm.
But if you're not even thinking about these things, then I don't know how you really plan to survive the long term, like upheaval that this is going to cause if it hasn't already caused it.
Well, you summed up one of the reasons why I wanted to be able to have you on is because there are people that are fighting it, where they're not looking. They're just saying, well, you know what, it's just in a way, and it's almost the ostrich thing of I'm just going to put my head in the sand. I'm not going to think about it. I'm just going to. This is an opportunity to be able to get out ahead of it. This is something that can actually teach you how to be able to do other things. I agree with you. I think that as more jobs are getting phased out, there are going to be more people that start working their way into entrepreneurship. One of the pushbacks that I had on AI when it first came out was it lowered the entry level. So what a lot of people don't understand about entrepreneurship is the failure rate goes up as the years go on. It's not something that like, oh, well, I got better at it, so more businesses are lasting longer. That's not really how it goes. So I appreciate that you said, as much as it is, the doing it the right way and things like that. One thing that I had to learn was working with small business owners. I've paid for people's projects. Like when the pandemic came, I was like, you know what, I get it. Don't worry about it. I'm going to cover all the costs for at least the next few months so that you can figure things out. On the back end of it, when the pandemic ended and they didn't do anything with that time, then it was like, okay, well, now here's the invoice for the upcoming month. And it was like, oh, well, I didn't figure anything out. So then I was out of that money. So from running a business standpoint and morally, I did the right thing. But as a business owner, that was one of the worst things that I could have done for my business because I was spending out of pocket, dipping into my savings and all the rest of that, helping those people in that situation. So one of the things I really want people to take away from it is this is an opportunity for it's not too late to get out ahead of some of it and start thinking about what's next. Like for me, I think I told you this when I was a kid. Like I had a candy business when I was in like second, third grade. I've always kind of had that entrepreneurial spirit. So when one thing stops working, I look at it from a consulting standpoint. I'm always looking at, well, what's the next thing? Like, what can I move on to from that? So for me, it's different. And that's why I have to kind of separate myself where like, thank you for reminding me because I'm looking at it from my perspective. And my perspective is even when I went into a job, when they were interviewing me, I was interviewing them. Are you a place where I'm going to be able to learn? Or are you a place where I'm going to be able to earn? Because there's a difference sometimes. Sometimes you can get into a place and they're going to give you the job description. They'll give you the job title and you take that title and you go someplace where you'll be able to learn or earn more. You have to know what reasons you're going in so that it's not just about collecting the check. This is an opportunity for people to be able to say, well, I know how to do certain things. Is it something that you can flip into being an entrepreneur? If it's not, if you don't have the temperament of being an entrepreneur, that's one of the reasons why I did the entrepreneurial type. There are personality types where you don't have to be the standard entrepreneur. Like me, I'm a disruptor. So I know there's certain levels of struggle that I'll have to go through because I have to compete against teaching people new habits. And then I got to compete against the existing businesses that are already doing things a certain way. I know I'm going to take certain hits. So when I talk to someone and they say, well, are you generating seven figures? I'm a disruptor. I didn't get into it to generate seven figures. I got into it to show people that there's a different way to be able to do things. So my goal is different than other people's goals. But when I'm being compared against the capital part of it, then yeah, I'm not gonna measure up the same way. But you have to go into it knowing what your goals are. And one of the things that I also want to be able to say with that is you also have to think it's not just you, it's everybody around you. So like when I got into it, I was making good money, but is every time I put morals ahead of the capital part of it, the people that were more interested in the capital part of it start to fade away. And the people that were more interested in it's great that you're morally responsible and all the rest of that, but you still need to be able to see to your life. You still have like a certain lifestyle and things that you have to be able to maintain. So I wanted to kind of bring it in and talk to you about it because I wanted to cover the balance, because there are some people that have become so dependent on it that it's like you said, what happens if something goes wrong, if something changes? You don't have anybody that actually knows how to do the work. So for all the people that are senior that learned how to be able to do things a certain way, when they're gone, what happens? I mean, we see what happens with McDonald's. They've got pictures and stuff on registers. And now I went into one and had to be months ago. I went in and you don't even talk to them anymore. You just go to the kiosk and you put in what you want and they just there to hand you the food. To go, wow, completely different. So we're seeing the evolution. It's time for you to start thinking about how you can get out ahead of it so that you don't find yourself so far behind it, because they're not replacing these things with new opportunities. You have to kind of create some of those. And if you're not creating it, then you want to find someone that's creating it and figure out how you can kind of hitch your wagon to their star so that you have something, because there are a lot of people that are going to be out here without a lot of options. One of the things that I used to joke with, is to say, is one thing that you can count on, and that's rock bottom. Rock bottom is one of the best teachers in the world. It's always going to teach you, all right, well, either you're going to stay here or you're going to pick yourself up. Like it makes you have to think about things. Before you get to rock bottom, start putting things in place that allow you to be able to think about what your options are. And you're presenting options. You're saying, if you are going to go into it, you don't necessarily need to be an expert. Like there are people that, where I've said people start businesses for different reasons. There are some that had a great experience that they want other people to have. There are some that had awful experiences they want people to avoid. There's some people that have secondhand experience where they just know what the solution is. And there are some people that are in it for the money grab. If we're going to be pushed in the direction of being an entrepreneur, then those are different things that you need to be able to look at and identify. Well, do I have an expertise? No. Okay, well then maybe I need to figure out, do I know a solution even if I don't have firsthand experience, maybe secondhand, thirdhand? Maybe I can take this time to learn from AI and start learning how to be able to do things that I can figure out how to monetize. You said, ask it questions. Can you do this? Can you help me figure out something that would allow me to be able to start a career? Can you teach me something that would that I can monetize? Here's some of the things that I know. Here's some of the things that I'm interested in. I wanted to have this conversation because it opens the door for that, where so many people are trying to close it. That door is never going to be closed. It's open now. It's there. The only thing that can really come into place is regulations, and the people that are at the top of it, that created it, that are creating their own versions of it, they don't really have a reason to stop it. So figure out where you can fit in it and then start to find ways to be able to maximize your opportunity. So learn the process, because if you learn the process, then you can figure out where you fit in it.
It's funny because the founder of OpenAI, Sam Altman, was asked, does AI replace engineering software? And he said no. And the reason being is because there's an infinite amount of code that needs to be written, right? And so we'll just get to infinity quicker, which is a funny paradoxical thing to think about. But what you can extrapolate from that, I think, if you're any type of entrepreneur, is that you have so many years in your life to accomplish the goal that you're trying to accomplish. And oftentimes when you start working, you don't know what that end game is. Maybe you never figure it out. Maybe it's, the process for you as an entrepreneur is the goal, being able to work for yourself, right? But regardless, if you have, say, 20 years to accomplish everything, AI is going to help you accomplish more in those 20 years. That's the way to look at it. It's like, I could only do so much by myself. So I had to hire people to do more. And now, and that's expensive, right? That's labor intensive, it's expensive, and it still takes longer because
Hmm.
humans are fallible and they need rest and they need to go on vacations and need to have personal lives as well. This is a game changer in the sense that it will, this is not real. This is all like, like science fiction or close to real, but, it's still like, I don't see anyone doing this, but there is a future in which these AI agents are working autonomously 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and will get you to that goal far quicker so that you can keep moving the goalpost. I mean, it's unreal if
Yeah.
you can think about what would be different if you had everything so efficiently built that things are just working while you sleep. I mean, like people always talk about, like, oh, making money while you sleep.
Hmm.
This, now, and the people who are doing that are people who are selling like digital products, right? So what if
Right.
service businesses could get in on some of that action
Hmm.
of making money while you sleep, right? Because there's no real, you know, checking in, checking out,
Right.
time sheeting, right? It's basically just happening at all times. So I always go back to like, the difference of increasing revenue versus increasing margin. Today, AI is really good at helping you increase margin by helping you automate the tasks that are operational that founder, me, you,
Hmm.
the
Hmm.
solopreneur is oftentimes spending too much of their day doing, which is making it harder for them to do the human thing, which is sell.
Yes.
So if the easiest way to move the needle with regard to revenue is sales, and quite honestly, if you're, making less than, maybe 2.5, $3 million, you probably should be the person doing sales,
Hmm.
right? Because you're probably so passionate about the work that you do. Then really as close to 40 hours, or however many hours you're willing to work in a week should be on that. Well, as a solopreneur, it's probably a quarter of that
Right.
because you're tied down to all these other things. So today you can basically make a list of all the things that you're stuck doing. And if you have no idea how you implement those operationally with AI, you can ask AI, hey,
Yes.
here are some things that I have, what needs to happen for me to start automating these things? And that could be your entry point. And then just go down the rabbit hole, start playing with the tools. There's some really, really good YouTube videos out there uh, teaching you how to
Hmm.
handle some of these more advanced topics. Keep up on it. Like I was just listening to or reading something that said that AI's beta model for the first time surpassed any human ever in engineering, something like that. Right.
Wow.
So it's like, so, keeping up with like what's happening, right? Like that these things are going on because it'll start to, I think it'll start to, you know, or start to present some aha moments for anyone who's willing to pay attention.